right, folks, final segment of the week. You better make this count. That's why I have Don Harkins with me. Don Harkins, hearkening back to a time when people told the truth and wrote real news as the fourth estate, the watchdog over the other three estates. It is the Idaho Observer, idaho-observer.com. You're going to love this newspaper. It's well worth the price of admission. And Don has told me in the past on this program, you can make copies of it, get it out, just tell everybody about this news, tell everybody about the Idaho Observer. And Don, people, they can get in and get the subscription for a very low price, get these out, but they can also get the word out for what they're doing. And there's a little back page with some advertising. You can buy some cheap banners in there. This gets out to thousands and thousands and thousands of people. People can contact you through the website, I guess, or find a way to advertise in your newspaper. They should do it.
Well, sure. And, it's not just bad news. What we're really attempting to do here is get people involved, show them that there's other people working on the area of activism that they have a passion with, or if they do have a passion and do want to get more involved. We like to be a networking publication for activism, as well as providing really deep historical understanding to the current events as they're playing out. Because if you are believing that all of these things that are happening are just popping up out of a vacuum, you don't have enough information to make a qualified decision. All you have is enough information to be a reactionary. And I want our people to be wise and to be understanding fully what's going on, so they have qualified opinions and can also then act accordingly.
I mean, it's fair to say you're not going to be able to publish this great newspaper, which is this is my religion, folks, truth. You're not going to be able to produce this without your advertisers. So people need to, A, support the advertisers they find in your magazine, and B, advertise in your magazine, in your newspaper. I hope they do. Idaho-observer.com, and you call them and get the rates and, negotiate with them, whatever it takes. Get awareness out there, networking for your own group, and I'm happy to link to you for free, but you're going to get a lot more exposure with Don Harkins, I believe. Don, you talked about forced vaccinations, all these things we've talked about in the program today, none of which we planned. It just all kind of came out in the wash. What do people do when they're forced? Again, I mean, here's the choice. Evacuate or we shoot you. Take the vaccine or get the vaccines for your children, or we put you in jail. I mean, is it going to come down to that, and what do people do about all of this?
Well, here's what we're finding so far, is that if you you can contact the executive director or the secretary of your state's public health department, on down to the county, on down to just the Homeland Security liaison in your community, or even some of the just local health district nurses. And these are all people who have been training in this stuff for some time. They've attended conferences. They are going to be playing roles in this. And if you ask them a couple of key questions, in fact, if you take a look at page 14 of this month's edition, you'll see some of the questions that you can ask with regard to the development of the vaccine and with regard to the administration of it and medical martial law and all these things that are going to be giving them enhanced powers to administrate a pandemic response in the form of mass vaccination. And you see that these people are completely and woefully ignorant of the background data that is underpinning this machine as it's rolling. They're completely in the dark. They are just as ambivalent as the rest of America because of all the other false alarms, it seems, that have come down the pike. They're thinking that, no, I'm not going to be able to force anyone to get vaccinated. They're thinking that it's going to be a safe vaccine because it's going to be tested and all that kind of stuff. And then when you hit them with some of the details as we've uncovered them, they then factor in all their experiences and they realize that they're being deceived, and their faces turn from being very confident in their position and doing the public good as moral busybodies, as we described earlier, and they suddenly are very shaken. And so we have an advantage if we are informed ourselves, and if we kindly and respectfully are able to get these people into a conversation with us, we can put serious doubt in their minds, and then when the time comes, they may not opt to, kill all the little kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Power in numbers is also a great headline that we could write for this program. We've seen in the past, Don, that the emergency workers out there, they have refused themselves to be force vaccinated,
right,
which they have to do in order to handle the mass public, at least mentally. That's part of the PSYOP, I guess, here, the psychological warfare. But they've rejected these in the past. Where are we with all of that? These emergency workers that, as you just mentioned, may not go along with this.
Well, I don't know. That's why it is we need to really get them up to speed on this one, because we have an inside tip that the Department of Homeland Security and the CDC and the HHS, Health and Human Services, are buying up billboards all over the country, so that when the time comes, they're going to just have we're going to see a propaganda machine going forward to convince that 80% to go right down and get theirs with their sleeve rolled up. And once that begins happening, the frenzy, the feeding frenzy, the money's moving. Everybody that's involved in this wave logistically and in personnel to make this thing happen are going to get carried along in that wave and probably perform their roles. So we need to step in ahead of time and put seeds of doubt, severe seeds of doubt, and then water them well so that when the time comes, they won't administrate. And that's, I see, probably the greatest opportunity for averting this disaster.
I have to believe that they've got backup people now because they've learned their lesson in the past, that some of these people aren't going to cooperate with all of this, and they're really set to go. I mean, as you said, they've been working on this for more than 10 years. Don Harkins with us, the Idaho Observer. Thanks, Don, for being on the show. I love the article in the Continental Congress 2009 in this month's edition, and I'm going to contact those guys and bring them on the show. Thanks to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Jack. Good being
thank
with
you. Give my best to your partner there, Vaccination Liberation, if you want to find out about real issues of vaccination, not the nefarious, scaremongering researchers out there. Don and his people, they just do such a great job. Please check them out.